when it started out, with Byron Lee starting out Carnival, you heard uproar. Uproar, big uproar. Now everybody is praising Carnival, says $1 billion industry that we have created. And in the same way that we had persons having their issues and their challenges, which the legislation is seeking to ensure that it is controlled, that it is fixed, then guess what? We are going to get it right. We're getting it right, and it will also become a major economic revenue source for the country. So, Mr. President, let us get to what is contained within the regulation. So, Section 3 of the Principal Act sets out objects of the legislation, and the regulations, I'm saying, and I feel confident, provide the enabling support to ensure effectiveness. So if I look on Section C of the Principal Act, which seeks to ensure casino gaming is conducted in a fair and open manner, the regulation in Part 6 has provisions for patron disputes and complaints to be addressed, not only internally, but using internal control standards, but for matters that call into question the integrity of the casino operator or the industry, to gain the intervention of the Commission. So the Commission operators to determine whether their operations are fair. The Commission can be brought in to determine disputes that arise. These provisions ensure the outcome of the patron's concerns rest not solely with the bias of the operator, but can be reviewed by the oversight body. Issues of fairness in the operations of the casino will be guaranteed by the provisions of Part 7, which speaks to the technical standards and certification of the equipment used in casinos. And minimum standards are set using objective standards and not just one implemented by the operator. So, President, Section 3E of the Principal Act sets out the objective of preventing casino gaming from being a source of crime and disorder or being used to support crime. The regulations that we are passing today, Parts 2 and 3, sets out the organizational structure of casinos and the internal control standards and accounting procedures to include monthly reporting of financial and statistical data with the Commission. So, President, regulations in Part 3 appear quite comprehensive and robust, particularly when one views Regulation 24, which allows the Commission to request special audits by an auditor approved by the Commission and not one appointed by the operator under Regulation 22. So under 22, the operator is obliged to have their financials audited, but the Commission can go to a special audit. So it's not somebody that is going to be appointed by the operator, again with their biases and whatever influences. This is one that the Commission can do on their own accord, Mr. President, and appoint an auditor for a special audit. So this coupled with the fact that the Commission has already entered into an MOU with the FID will go a long way in fulfilling the objective of Section 3E, Mr. President, to avoid the seeping in of criminal activity within the casino operations. Section 3D, Mr. President, sets out the objective of the Principal Act as protecting children and other vulnerable persons from exploitation. And Mr. President, let me start here, because I believe my friend Senator Thompson may have commented on it. Can't legislate everything. Cannot. Mr. President, individuals must be responsible. That is where it starts from. We must be responsible for ourselves. That is undoubtedly the primary or default position. But sometimes administrations have to put in legislation to protect the vulnerable persons. And so, Mr. President, these regulations in Part 4 restricts casino credit, which I think is very important. The restriction of casino credit. And persons have to about if they wish to have credit, or they are able to get it. It involves doing an assessment of the person to determine what is their ability to pay, and their source of funds. Very important. And Mr. President, there's a restriction of credit to minors. And there is also one that I found very important, Mr. President, where the commission can instruct a casino operator not to facilitate or allow a person, a patron. And so, Senator Donna Scott Matley, when you're a 93-year-old mom, 97, I'm not going to take off any years. Not taking off any years. But you're a 97-year-old mom, as I'm saying, with a preach out of the house and gone to the casino. What you must do, see, Joe, I hope Senator Scott Matley chauffeuring her to the casino. But guess what, Senator Scott Matley, if you have a family member that you have issues with because they will go and operate with gear abandon in a casino, inform the commission. And the commission can take certain steps in restricting that individual, restrict the operator, and the penalties for breaching that. The penalties are significant. So guess what? Senator Scott Matley, not only should we be responsible, but let us also be our brother's keeper. And we can provide information to persons who have gambling issues. And let me say, gambling, because somebody gambles, doesn't mean that it's an addiction. I go to Caymanas Park. I've been there. It is entertaining to watch horses run. But my wager, Mr. President, when I went, the last time I went to Caymanas Park was $2. $2. Because I'm not a gambling man. I don't take the risk. No, I'm not. I'm not an addicted gambler. I will do a little thing for the purpose of entertainment. Right? So the mere fact that somebody goes to a casino doesn't make them a gambler or one who is addicted. But there are in the legislation regulations that can protect the individuals. Mr. President, we look on Part 9, and in particular Regulation 67, which specifically restricts the casino operator from allowing an intoxicated person to participate in any gaming activity. And if they breach that, they subject themselves to their penalties. So the restrictions and protections and operational procedures, if you read through the pages of this regulation, you will find something there that provides the protection that is needed. So, President, as I said, I'm not a gambler, I'm not a risk taker. I suppose Jamaicans are not gamblers and risk takers. That's why we are on this side. Mr. President, I am, however, one who believes we must explore all avenues for the sustainable growth and development of the country. And in doing so, there may be things that some persons have an appreciation for and others don't. But we live in a diverse society and we must be able to include all, Mr. President. This case of gaming, as we diversify the offerings, I see the value enunciated in the University of the West Indies study and how the casino initiative can be introduced and implemented with net positives once done, where it is related to tourism and not a standalone, and having in place the appropriate legal framework, and is being done with the Act and these particular regulations. And under this administration, Mr. President, I give full support to the passage of the Casino Gaming General Regulations of 2025. Thank you very much, Mr. Secretary.
Just before we make a decision as to how we're going to proceed, I'm going to ask the Senate just to welcome two guests that we have. Senior Counsel and King's Counsel Larry Smith from Barbados. Stand up, please. He is. He works principally in Barbados. I think that's how they call it. But he's also a member of the Jamaican Bar, and it suggests that I might be getting some work outside of Jamaica in the near future. And his colleague and friend who in whose chambers he works, Senior Counsel Christopher Townsend. So I ask you to welcome both of them. It's 1:20. Can I have a decision as to how we proceed? You want to take one more speaker before lunch? No, we pass that. We dispense with that. You want to take one more before lunch? Look here, I'm in your hands. You all decide. Oh, there you go. Can we take the please? Okay, the Senate will now rise until, you said 2 o'clock? 2 o'clock? Yeah? 2 o'clock? The Senate will now rise until 2 o'clock.
Nation for go-getters who are ready to take the step-by-step actions to master your finances and create a family legacy. Tune in, watch, take notes, and participate to discover the strategies of our expert guests who provide invaluable guidance and powerful coaching tools to supercharge your financial journey.
Tune in to Financially Focused, Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. only on PBCJ, the People's Station.
All eyes turn to the Angeles Corner Sports Complex on Saturday at 1 p.m. as dominant Arnett Gardens, unbeaten and in Bauhaus form, takes on a determined Huey women's team, still searching for the first win and fighting to rescue their campaign.
You have to be ready for the physicality. When you're playing against like Arnett in this league, you have to get players ready physically and mentally.
Expect intensity and pride as one team looks to extend perfection, while the other battles to rewrite their story.
And a bigger mission, and that's the difference. Their mindset is different. Their mission is the safe road, and to get to the safe road, you have to win this.
Don't miss this Jamaica Women's Premier League showdown.
Peace is a choice we make every day. When we come together with love and understanding, we create a future free of violence and fear. Let's stand united, build bridges, and nurture hope for our children and our communities.
What is the role of a backbencher in government? I'm glad you asked. They're members of parliament who are not appointed to cabinet. So they sit in the back of the legislature and they apply pressure. They examine what government legislates, participate in parliament debates, raise issues and advocate. Question chamber when things don't look straight. Backbenchers represent the constituents in parliament. Backbenchers oversee the interests of citizens, you and me. But how can they be agents of government accountability after them no hold no portfolio? And them and a minister? No. So then how can they facilitate government transparency? And the next thing, them on a front bencher. So how them affect me? You see, a lot of work is in committees. So these portfolio-free MPs with less dire responsibilities are more accessible to you and me. So they help with policy, but it helps if we engage them, yes. They're not just backbenches, but on the ground, in the trenches. Though in the back of parliament, we're at the front of their cause. So pause. Find your backbencher at jampja.org.
Do your part to prevent mosquito breeding. Mosquitoes will breed in any container that holds water.
Tightly cover water storage containers such as drums, barrels, buckets, and tanks. If this cannot be done, pour oil on the water surface. Punch holes in all tins, plastics, and beverage boxes to prevent the collection of water before disposal. Cover all tires or fill with dirt to prevent water collection. Scrub all vases once per week to remove mosquito eggs. Use mosquito repellents to protect yourself from mosquito bites. Dispose of garbage properly by placing in plastic bags and securing properly to prevent water collection.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Jamaica can help you protect our citizens.
Jamaica Eye will play a part in increasing your public safety.
Jamaica Eye is part of an island-wide network of camera surveillance systems designed to increase the safety of you, our citizens. If you have a camera system outside your home or office facing a public space, log on to jamaicaeye.gov.jm today. Jamaica Eye, we're all connected. The Ministry of National Security, creating a safer and prosperous Jamaica.
The following is brought by the Office of the Prime Minister. To fight crime and violence in your country, your government has invested over 9.7 billion into national security systems. This includes construction and renovation of dozens of police stations, the acquisition of critical security equipment such as patrol vessels and police vehicles, the recruitment and training of more police officers, and the build-out of the Jamaica Defense Force. The government is investing in your safety. We are building Jamaica.
The proceeding was brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
Jamaica is on the move with smarter and cleaner transportation. The government is enhancing the JUTC fleet with 100 new CNG buses with 10 specially outfitted for the disabled. Running on compressed natural gas, these buses reduce emissions while offering advanced safety features and Wi-Fi. Jamaica is driving in comfort towards a sustainable future.
So who keeps our taxpayer money in check? Well, the PAC and PAAC help watch over the country's budget. And one might sound like it just have an extra A, but they're way different. Here's how. The PAAC and PAC are two committees that watch the money. The Public Accounts Committee reviews government projects after them close. They do a post-audit check to see what problems arose with the costs and call officials to explain decisions and cause budget mismanagement. And then they recommend corrective action. So the problem will happen from when? Not happen again. But what about the money we are spending right now? The PAAC. That's how Public Administration and Appropriations Committee pretty much means your money will protect as it happens, we check. While projects go on, things are accurate. As government spend the nation's budget, PAAC reviews it. They examine proposals and summon officials to find problems before them don't use it. So the PAC and PAAC are two parliamentary committees that watch over the country's wallet. To protect the budget and keep it in check, you can get involved. Just visit jamja.org.
It's Friday, April 17th. In the headlines, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness is in the United States for hurricane recovery talks and major award recognition. Reggae legend Ernie Smith dead at 80. In business news, Mining and Quarry Association says brace for increased construction prices. Regionally, UK visa threat over reparations sparks Caribbean backlash. And in sports, 4 Jamaican athletes denied transfer to Turkey by World Athletics Review panel. This is the weekend news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness is in New York City attending a 3-day series of high-level engagements aimed at advancing Jamaica's post-hurricane recovery efforts. He arrived in the United States on Thursday and was welcomed by Jamaica's ambassador to the United States, Anthony Anderson, and ambassador to the United Nations, Brian Wallace. A key highlight of the visit is the Recover Better conference, a one-day forum focused on mobilizing diaspora support for national reconstruction following Hurricane Melissa. The event, led by the National Reconstruction and Resilience Authority, brings together government officials, institutional leaders, and diaspora representatives to drive solutions in agriculture, education, and diaspora engagement. On Friday, April 17, Prime Minister Holness is scheduled to attend the 29th annual The Legacy Continues Awards Gala, hosted by the American Foundation for the University of the West Indies in Manhattan, where he will be receiving the Legacy Award in recognition of his leadership and contributions to national development. Before he left the island, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness handed over 34 serviced lots in the Cherry Gardens housing development in Kitson, St. Catherine. The move is part of the government's push to expand access to affordable housing. The lots were distributed to contributors of the National Housing Trust, NHT, marking another phase of the 193 lot development. 47 lots had already been delivered in earlier phases. Prime Minister Holness says the initiative goes beyond land ownership, describing the lots as assets to empower Jamaicans to build homes and generate long-term wealth.
This is a significant personal milestone. Each lot represents significant tangible real asset in the hands of real people with real potential to transform lives. For the country, it is the latest milestone in the government's campaign to promote ordered development.
The Cherry Gardens scheme is located along the St. John's Main Road.
It sits within a network of established and emerging communities, including Green Acres and St. John Heights. Equally important is the infrastructure that underpins the development. The lots are supported by paved roads, drainage systems, potable water networks, electrical infrastructure, and designated green and recreational spaces.
Under the Interim Finance Program, the NHT provides developers with up to 100% financing at concession rates, with the requirement that savings are passed on to buyers. As a result, the lots are priced between 3.1 million and 6.4 million. Jamaica is being urged to position itself as a global leader in technology as the world moves deeper into artificial intelligence and robotics. The call is coming from President of the University of Technology, Jamaica, Dr. Kevin Brown, who says the decisions made in education today will determine whether the country leads or falls behind in the future workforce. He was speaking at the recently held Jamaica Teachers Association's 2026 Education Conference in Hanover.
The growing use of artificial intelligence and robotics is no longer a futuristic concept. President of the University of Technology Jamaica, Dr. Kevin Brown, says Jamaica must act now to keep pace with global technological change.
So technology is reshaping the workforce, and it will redefine the workforce of tomorrow. So if we look at Jamaica in 2050, right? If we imagine Jamaica in 2050, I just have a couple of questions. What kind of economy will we have? Notice I've gone past the Vision 2030, right? Because that is happening tomorrow. I'm looking at 2050. What kind of economy will we have? What industries will drive our growth?
He's urging the country to shift from simply using technology to designing and producing it locally, powered by Jamaican talent.
I am wanting one day to pick up a Jamaica tablet. I want to use a phone designed by a Jamaican, not just the app, but the hardware and everything in there. You can make it in China, but we must design it. When we'll have the courage, the determination, and the vision to lead in technology and not just consume it. We are fast adopters of technology in Jamaica now. But the brain power I have at UTech tells me that we can go further. The bright students I have at UTech tell me that if given the opportunity, they can lead these industries.
Dr. Brown says the education system must lead that transformation by ensuring every school is digitally equipped and the teachers are trained to use modern tools.
All schools must have smart boards, not just one, but every room, every classroom in the school. All schools must have state-of-the-art science labs. All schools must have state-of-the-art STEM labs. And I know that is the direction the government is going. I just ask them to hasten their steps and to put more funding behind it.
Education leaders say the future of Jamaica's economy depends heavily on how quickly the country modernizes classrooms and equips students with the skills needed for a digitally driven world. Reporting for the news on PBCJ, I am Danita Rodney.
Veteran Jamaican singer, songwriter Ernie Smith has died at the age of 80. Smith, whose given name was Glenroy Anthony Michelangelo Smith, passed away on Thursday at a hospital in Florida following a period of illness. Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport, Olivia Grange, paid tribute to the late artist, describing him as one of the finest contributors to Jamaican music. She said she was deeply saddened by his passing and highlighted his legacy of hit songs from the late 1960s and 1970s, including Dopey Gunman and Life is Just for Living. Minister Grange notes that although his voice has been silenced, his music will continue to resonate for generations. She also extended condolences to his family, wife, friends, and wider music fraternity. For his part, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness says, quote, his unmistakable voice and powerful storytelling gave us timeless songs like Life is Just for Living, Dopey or Gunman, and Pitter Patter, which have become part of the soundtrack of our lives. Dr. Holness says, quote, he's established himself as one of our most gifted songwriters and performers, earning admiration both at home and across the world. Opposition leader Mark Golding also paid tribute, describing Mr. Smith as a gifted songwriter whose work captured the spirit of the Jamaican people and helped define a generation. Everyone has that one childhood moment that they'll never forget. In this week's Unfiltered, Chanel Matthews hit the streets to ask everyday Jamaicans about their favorite memories.
I am Chanel Matthews and this is Unfiltered. We all have those special moments growing up that sticks with us. What's your favorite childhood memory?
My favorite childhood memory is when my mom used to bring me anywhere I want to go and like her buying Alaska and me stealing it.
Playing marble, and I was very good at it because I used to have paint pen and marble. So it was my little source of income. Because I play, win, and I sell from it. So that's a very good childhood memory.
Playing footballs with my cousins because I live in the country, so some of them would come over on holidays. Yeah, we'll play football or go to the river.
Yeah, but my friend Taliva usually go to the river, we're going to play marble and catch certain things too.
I think my favorite childhood memory was when my dad brought me cake. That's my favorite childhood memory. Because, you know, back in the day, I would keep parties for my friends. So when he brought me the cake, he would also bring a bottle of syrup. And then I would make drink and share the cake with my friends. So that's my favorite childhood memory.
No, so when me and my local friend them get together and we play some football and stuff like that, we feel the joy and you know, we correspond and say, yo, keep the ball and them look thing down, you know, he just saw it come down, you see it?
Growing up in St. Mary apart about from grade 7 upwards and catching water, going to river, when my mother told us to don't go certain place, one place of them called Galawas. Alright, you have Kingsbury, Galawas. One place of them called Galawas, we pass this and go far up into the bush. But catch what them call it, you know, the little crayfish them, not janga, you know, crayfish them like the black coffee crayfish them, that here. That's one of the favorite things, and like when my auntie normally would take me from country and carry go Portmore for go enjoy, you know, the weekend anyway, you live in the town life.
My favorite childhood memory would be my first time competing in champs.
Favorite childhood memory would be that of my father taking me to school. All the way from Seaview Garden to Jesse Ripple on South Camp Road on a bicycle. Every morning. Sometimes different routes.
Just sometime and then basically my foot catching the spokes, and that would be it.
Well, for me, growing up, it was spending time with my grandma and looking forward to the cooking because, as you know, one chef in the kitchen. So,
Time now for the business report with Denise Williams.
Welcome to today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, bringing you the developments shaping markets, capital access, and business decision-making across Jamaica and the region. Let's get into the stories that matter. The Mining and Quarrying Association of Jamaica is urging construction companies, developers, and property owners to embrace likely increases in the cost of key materials, including construction-grade limestone and sand, as operators respond to mounting cost pressures. The association emphasized that any anticipated price adjustments are being driven by economic realities, not coordinated action, with rising energy costs, both fuel and electricity, placing sustained strain on production and distribution. Heavy processing equipment requires significant power, with some operators already facing monthly electricity bills in the millions, alongside higher fuel costs for hauling and export. These pressures come as the industry continues to recover from millions in losses caused by last year's hurricane, which disrupted operations and damaged infrastructure. Recent data from the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, STATIN, shows the mining and quarrying sector declined by 37.5%, highlighting the scale of the challenge. Jamaican-owned but Barbados-registered investment company Qantas Advantage has launched its initial public offering IPO in Jamaica, seeking to raise upwards of US $15.4 million or 2.5 billion Jamaican dollars to grow the business. Co-founded by former Scotia bankers Dr. Adrian Stokes and Mrs. Jacqueline Sharp, Qantas had already raised US $17 million from private markets to launch in 2022. Now, Qantas is turning to the public market through its lead arranger, JMMB. The investment firm is seeking to expand its book of business to purchase various contractual cash flows, including receivables, leases, and mortgages. For the last financial year ended June 2025, Qantas Advantage earned a US dollar rate on equity of 10.19%. This performance resulted from gains on sales of assets plus interest income on investments generated in structured finance business segment. For its initial public offer IPO, Qantas is offering 83.2 million ordinary shares at US 12 cents or Jamaican $19.04 per share. The IPO, which is set to open next week on April 22, closes a month later on May 21. For the trading period of April 16, 2026, the most actively traded securities were JMMB Group Limited, 9.5% with 18,076,392 units, representing 46.72% of market sales activities. Trans Jamaica Highway Limited with 4,195,688 units, representing 10.84% of market sales activity. JMMB Group Limited 7.35% cumulative redeemable preference share with 3,635,618 units, representing 9.4% of market sales activity. Investor activity remained concentrated in finance and transportation plays, signaling continued interest in dividend-producing and strategic assets. Turning to the foreign exchange market based on Bank of Jamaica data for April 16, 2026, Forex traders recorded significant activity with strong demand across major currencies. For the US dollar, trading margins reflected steady liquidity with the US selling at $157.51 and buying at $159.21. For the Canadian dollar, moderate gains supported by 26-cent transaction spread. The Canadian dollar sold for $116.13 and was bought for $115.87. For the British pound, continued volatility offered short-term trading opportunity of $7.41 in profits for the banks. The British pound sold for $218.15 and was bought for $210.74. These movements underscore the importance of cash flow timing and currency awareness for businesses managing import costs, debt servicing, or overseas exposure. For our credit report tip of the day, stop waiting until you need money. Set up your banker system and your meeting rhythm now. Create a simple tracker, Excel, Google Sheet, with your key documents: income statement, balance sheet, cash flow, receivables, payables, and loans. Now, focus on the meetings. This is where most people miss the opportunity. Book a quarterly